I look like I need a haircut. How do I know? Because I'm comparing myself to myself. Oh dear, is that a topic? Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick, and today I'm going to do 10 minutes on comparison. First, as always, if you subscribe, thank you so much. It doesn't actually help me, it adds nothing to my pocket. It just makes me feel good, and I'm an egotistical person. And feeding into my topic for the day, I can compare how engaging I'm being by looking at the number of subscribers I have now to the number of subscribers I had then. Now, if I was to write out a much longer title for today's episode, I could have written 10 minutes on comparison as the thief of joy. It is very likely you've heard that phrase before, and we will certainly get into it. But first, we must define what comparison is, and I will try to do it without using the word compare, because to use the word that you are defining in the definition is, in fact, poor behavior. And I say that knowing that my pour just sort of went deep into the microphone. We're going to move past that, and I apologize to your eardrums. So comparison is looking at two things side by side and noting differences. Well, that sounds innocent enough. And in fact, comparison is quite useful. For example, how do we learn the difference between an apple and an orange? If your answer is anything but compare the two and see where the similarities lay, you are a liar. Even if you do research on the two objects, you still at some point have to compare them. They have to sit next to each other so you can learn, okay, this is an orange, this is an apple. And then it helps you to sort of draw out other global differences that you can look at with the two of them. Oh, this is citrus, this is not citrus. This is a teacher's favorite snack. For some reason, teachers don't like oranges. Never understood that. Made no sense to me. If you like an apple, why wouldn't you like an orange? An orange has vitamin C. It's good for preventing scurvy. I don't think teachers have a big problem with scurvy, but you never know. They might. I wouldn't know. I'm not a teacher. Teachers may chime in here and tell me if there is a massive problem with scurvy in the school system that I'm unaware of. Anyways, comparison is a tool. It is of itself simply a tool for education and for learning. So why do we constantly say, and why do you see on social media all over the place, comparison is the thief of joy? Typically, comparison is the thief of joy is said by somebody ridiculously good looking while gazing wistfully into the distance, usually over some kind of canyon or some sort of beautiful landscape. You can see the hills in the background. Perhaps there are goats and cows and farm animals, all designed to keep you watching the post while they wistfully say, comparison is the thief of joy. And it's usually pretty weird. Or it's with an AI voice, which is just, I did another podcast on how much I hate the stupid AI voices. Like, again, you're going to create art, show us the process, and create the art yourself, because that's half of what makes art great. Moving on. So why is comparison the thief of joy? Well, first of all, let's think about what joy is. If you said happiness, you're wrong. Joy is a sort of eternal, unending happiness. Joy is a feeling that does not go away. When you feel joy, no matter how bad life gets, the joy will stay with you, because joy, it sits with you. It changes who you are. You grow from joy. You can be happy eating a snow cone. Happiness is great. It's fleeting, though. Happiness is fleeting, and it's designed to be fleeting. It is an emotion that you don't want to feel happiness all the time, because happiness requires comparison. You have to be happy, you have to sometimes be sad. I would submit to the court, and I'm sure Webster's dictionary would disagree with me, but I would submit to the court to differentiate between, to compare happiness and joy. Happiness is a short-term emotion. Joy is a long-term emotion. Joy, it's very difficult for joy to come from temporary things, because joy is a state of being. It sits with you, and it drives you through things that make you sad or make you happy. Joy is what that feeling you get when you obtain a piece of wisdom, and a piece of wisdom that stays with you, right? And the reason I say that is because when you have wisdom, when you have a piece of wisdom, for example, Tom Hanks once said in a round table, and somebody else said it too, this too shall pass. But this too shall pass is not something that just applies to sadness. It applies to happiness too. And there is joy in knowing that something shall pass, because then you know and you're ready. I know the sadness will be temporary. I know the happiness will be temporary. But what that means is that you will always be okay. And there is joy in knowing that you will always be okay. Okay. So when I say comparison is the thief of joy, it's not just taking away a fleeting emotion that would have left you anyway. It's not just taking away the ice cream cone that was about to melt. Comparison as the thief of joy means that comparison is taking away something that should sit with you, something that should be your rock, your anchor, your thing that gets you through the ups and the downs, the thing that balances you. And it's because we use comparison incorrectly. We don't use comparison to learn, to educate ourselves. We don't use comparison as one of our tools to navigate our place in the world. We use it and we wonder, well, why don't I have that? You see these stupid Instagram ads, right? These stupid Instagram ads that are like, I made $3,000 yesterday through affiliate marketing. I've already talked about it. Affiliate marketing is a scam. Don't fall for it. But the ads are designed to play on humanity's weakness in that we naturally fall into comparison. And when we compare ourselves to something that really doesn't exist, our brain doesn't go, well, that doesn't exist, so I don't need to compare myself to that. No, our brain still compares ourselves to it. We still compare ourselves to Disney princes. We still compare ourselves to Disney princesses. But there's something to be said for knowing that something comes out of a fairy tale rather than something that's being hawked as a real solution. Or what about comparing yourself to an Instagram model? Somebody taking professional photos designed for a purpose to make that person look as unrealistically hot as possible. There's filters, there's Photoshop, there's different things are curved, uncurved. There's shoulders where, shoulders don't exist. Like, when you look at that, and if you start to compare yourself to that, you will never realize that standard. And then, rather than knowing the joy of something as simple as this too shall pass, well, no, it won't, because I'll never get there. There's an unrealistic ideal being put in front of me. And no matter how much I work, no matter how hard I want to, I will always have to compare myself to it. But don't. In the acting world, it's sort of the same thing. Like an actor like me, I'm 32. And there are actors at 22 who are living these wild, crazy celebrity lives and getting into all these cool projects. And okay, I can't be them. That's the important thing to remember. I can't be them because I'm me. And who I am is still pretty great. But if I were to compare myself to them, and you still do, and you still sometimes do, but every time you go and compare yourself to them, it robs you a little bit of that baseline of joy that you should have. And you steal a little bit of your soul away. And the problem is it's only you doing it to you. Right? Nobody else is hurting you. I'm going to sneeze again. I can feel it. But nobody else is hurting you. It's you hurting you. And that's the hardest thing to watch. Because as you watch that, as you sit there, the comparison only gets worse. You can't allow yourself to be caught into this. You can't allow yourself to let comparison become not a tool in your belt, but the thing that you have to do. You have to compare yourself to everybody else. The only person you have to compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Because the person you were yesterday can be improved upon. You can learn from that person. You can't learn from future you. You can't learn from anybody else's past. You can't learn from anybody else's present. much like comparing an apple and an orange is something we can do to learn the differences between them, you can compare yourself to your past self and learn the differences and learn where you've improved and maybe where you've still got a little more work to do. But that's useful because that can be improved upon. No matter what, I will never be an improved version of Timothée Chalamet. And I don't know that I would want to be, because I'm not Timothée Chalamet. I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.